want to welcome you all to the Las Vegas Implant Direct Teaching Center. Today I'm going to be lecturing on a full range of subjects covering the implant industry, the last 30 years, where we were, where we are now, and where we're going, and talk about all the application-specific implants from Implant Direct. Implant Direct is the value player in the implant industry. Warren Buffett said, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get," and that's what Implant Direct is about, and really it's what I have been about for the last 30 years, starting with Corvent, Paragon, Implant Direct, and now Implant Direct Cybron. I have 35 patents in the field, and I want to share with you the latest product line and product innovations from Implant Direct. Here are 3 covers of journals showing our products. This shows all the different platforms that are available from Implant Direct. The 45-degree lead-in bevel on our legacy line was first developed in 1986. It's still on the Zimmer implants, on BioHorizons, on MIS implants. It's licensed to many of these companies. Here's the tri-lobe implant developed by Nobel, actually developed by Axel Kirsch in Germany. We make one that's compatible with that platform. We have a Straumann compatible internal octagon implant that I licensed in 2000 to Straumann. We have an external bevel screw plant and screw plus line that we'll be talking about. External bevel, internal hex. We will be launching an internal conical connection that is compatible with Nobel Active. The lead-in bevel of the legacy is a conical connection also. That just means that there's a lead-in bevel to provide lateral stability. We have 2 specialty implants, one-piece implants for specific applications. The Go Direct has a locator compatible platform for overdentures, and the Screw-in Direct has a multi-unit abutment. That means you would only use it when you're splinting 2 or more implants. These are one-piece implants. The new interactive implant that's yet to be launched with the Nobel compatible platform is shown on this cover. There's an article written on that. It has unique packaging, which I'll be discussing. Here's an editorial that I wrote on implant prosthodontics, past, present, and future. And really, implantology is a prosthetic discipline with a surgical component. Going back to 1982, you see the first Corvent ad. And here's some clinical pictures of Corvent implants from another ad. Used freestanding as a distal abutment to a 3-unit bridge. Freestanding to stabilize an overdenture. The Corvent was the first implant ever to take on this type of restoration. It's now become minimum standard of care by the American College of Prosthodontics. Multi-unit abutments with bars splinted that cantilever back for total implant support, and then angled abutments for full arch restorations. These were all in the 80s, part of the Corvent system. Here's a 27-year follow-up of a Corvent case. We used to leave the implant a millimeter above the bone when we buried it under the soft tissue, so it'd be easier to find. So these implants have lost about a millimeter of bone, and this one none, in the last 27 years. Hollow basket screw implant with a hex hole that accepted cemented restorations. In 1986, I developed the internal connection, lead-in bevel, internal hex, used a body that was compatible with the Brånemark screw implant, 3.7. Going internal allowed me to make the neck narrower, 3.5 initially, then we strengthened it to 3.7, whereas the 3.7 Brånemark implant flared to 4.1 and needed countersinking in order to get it flush with the bone.
The screw vent evolved over the years, different lengths of neck, minor changes, different sizes to the vents. And in 2000, we had the tapered screw vent, put an even taper, gentle taper on it. And the advantage of that was that you could insert it in soft bone into an undersized socket, expand and compress the bone as you're screwing it in, and increase initial stability to try and equalize the success between soft and hard bone applications. I received a patent in 1990 on this connection, and that stood for 17 years and has become the cornerstone of modern implant design. Now, when I made the tapered screw vent, I knew that you didn't need a vent on a tapered implant. With the straight implants, the first couple of threads start to cut the bone and you need a place to throw the bone chips. But with a tapered implant, that apical end doesn't touch until you're finally seating the implant and using a step drill that cuts a smaller hole in the apex. But I left the vent in the tapered screw vent because I realized screw no vent would be a bad name for a product. But none of the implants we make today have vents in them. Here is a article that I wrote in 2000, Achieving Osseointegration in Soft Bone, the Search for Improved Results. And that was all about increasing initial stability by placing a tapered implant into an undersized socket. And we added double and triple lead threads, which means that the threads start 180 degrees apart and wind around the implant so that each turn drops the implant twice as far as the pitch between adjacent peaks of threads. This video will demonstrate that point. So assume that this is soft bone and this is dense bone. In the spongy bone, you would go in with a 2.8 drill that steps down to 2.3 and then insert a 3.7 implant, which will compress and stabilize the implant. That's been demonstrated to have a higher percentage of bone contact by putting that bone under compression. In dense bone, instead of using a bone tap to first cut the threads, after using a 3.2 drill, we just use a 3.4 drill with only the tips of the threads engaging and screw the implant in self-tapping. So anytime you can eliminate surgical steps, you increase your chance of success and reduce your chair time. 2 marketing books that I've read, Differentiate or Die and Eating the Big Fish. This first one, Differentiate or Die, tells you how companies try to create some unique feature and then market it as if it were the most important thing in the world. Eating the Big Fish says how guerrilla marketing of smaller companies can eventually eat at and maybe destroy the premium priced products in various industries.